Hey, what's going on guys? I hope you're all doing well. We are back with a brand new Rocket League video, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do all the different types of flicks that are available currently in the game. I'm going to be doing these, I believe, in order from what I believe to be easiest to hardest. So I will first of all say that to do flicks, you're going to have a basic understanding of dribbling. I can do an advanced dribbling tutorial to try and help you guys if you need it. Otherwise, it's just going to be sort of a how-to on the mechanics of doing certain flicks. So, without further ado, let's begin. So the first flick that I wanted to discuss was the front flip flick, which is as simple as just doing a front flip with the ball on top of your car. The positioning of the ball is fairly important in all of the flicks. With the majority of them, you're going to want the ball to be slightly towards the front of the car. Generally dribbling, you'll want to keep your car inside the circle at the bottom, and doing the majority of these flicks, you want it a slight bit further forward. A lot of the flicks are going to be based on how much speed you have as well, in regards to how much power they have. Excuse me. So yeah, the first flick, as I say, is just a front flip flick, which just entails doing a front flip with the ball on the front portion of your car. And in my opinion, this is the easiest flick to master. There's not really much more I can say about that flick, so I'm just going to move on to the next one, which is a diagonal flip flick, which works the same way, except you're going to have the ball slightly to the left or right of your car. If you've got the ball slightly to the left, you're going to do a left diagonal flip. And if you've got the ball slightly to the right, you're going to do a right diagonal flip. Okay. So again, there's not really too much to discuss on those flicks. It is literally just having the ball in the right place and doing the flip. The next I'm going to discuss is the side flip flick, which again, it works better for keeping your momentum going forward whilst you propel the ball forward. For this one, again, you are going to want to have the ball slightly to one side more than the other. So similar to a diagonal flip flick, except you're not committing as much forwards as you would be with a forward or diagonal flip flick. So it's better if you're going at a high speed and you want to maintain your momentum and not go too far forward with the ball. Again, with this one, you're going to want to have the ball slightly to the left or right of your car, depending on which way you're flicking. If it's on the right side, you're going to flip towards the left, and if it's on the left side, you're going to flip towards... Sorry, I think I said that wrong. If it's on the left side, you flip towards the left, and if it's on the right side, you flip towards the right. In my opinion, these are probably the least useful flicks. But they definitely have their uses in certain areas. Next up, we have the backflip flick. So you saw me do a couple of these in the intro for the video. It's as simple as just doing a backflip with the ball in your car. It's definitely better to have the ball towards the middle of your car rather than the front or back, but it all depends on what you want to do with the flick. So if you want the ball to be propelled forward, you're going to want to have the ball slightly further forward on your car. And if you want the ball to go more upwards, you'll have it slightly further back. For some reason I can't do it now. There we go. So that's more upwards than forwards, and the other is more forwards than upwards. You can do this so that it actually goes kind of backwards as well if you've got it in the right place, so that goes further backwards there. So that's going to be further towards the back of your car. Okay, now we get onto the slightly more complex flicks. The first one that I want to go over is the 45-degree flick. So what this entails is just turning your car 45 degrees to the left or to the right, which is a quarter of a 90-degree turn, so a quarter of turning all the way. It would just be in the middle. So if we were looking at a clock, that would be probably about 2 o'clock, I believe. somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock. I don't know why I even said that. I shouldn't have used that analogy. So with the ball on your car, the other thing you're going to want to implement into this is a slight air roll. So either to the left or to the right, depending on which way you want to flick. So if I have the ball on the left side of the car, I'll do a slight air roll left, and then a backwards diagonal flip to get the most power. There you go. And the opposite for the other side. So if you've got the ball on the left side, you air roll right slightly. Okay. This is probably one of the harder flicks to master, but it's definitely, in my opinion, one of the most useful. I tend to use this flick more often than any other flick in the game, especially when I'm trying to take a shot. The only issue with this one is that it can generate quite a lot of height, so generally doing this from slightly further away might be more beneficial, so you don't hit the crossbar or backboard. The next one that I wanted to discuss was the 90-degree flick. So with the 90-degree flick, you turn your car a full 90 degrees, so a full quarter turn. And you may want to implement a slight air roll with this one as well. So the air roll you'll do the exact same way as you would for the... Oh, sorry, side flipped. The air roll you would do for the same direction as a 45-degree flick, sorry. So if it's on the right side, air roll right, and if it's on the left side, air roll left. The other thing you want to make sure is that you're doing a backwards diagonal flip rather than any other flip, because it will generate the most power and the most speed. Okay. The next flick, I've said both words so much now I'm getting confused, is the 180 backflip flick. So with a 180 backflip flick, it is exactly as it says on the tin. You turn your car 180 degrees and then backflip. So with this, you won't want to use any air roll. It may be beneficial occasionally to dip your car down slightly before you turn, so that you can generate more power in the backwards flip. Not like that, that's too much. If you do it, you only want to do it a very slight amount. This flick, in my opinion, is good if you've got a lot of speed. You can generate a lot of power with it, and it's not always easy to read where it's going to go. Okay. The next one that I want to talk about is the Musty flick. So there's two variations of a Musty flick. And to explain this a little bit better, the way that this works is you use a backflip to propel you forward. Now the way that you do this is you have to have your car either above or below 180 degrees. So let's say 180 degrees, sorry I'm trying to do this, is like that. So you're either facing directly up or directly down. If you do this a little bit sooner, so if you're not completely back past 180 degrees, you will get backwards momentum. And if you're slightly past, you'll get forwards momentum. The same works if you go downwards. So if you're past 180 degrees, you'll get forwards momentum. So, there we go. And if you're below 180 degrees, you'll get backwards momentum. So I'll show you that there. Okay, now you need to use this in conjunction with the ball to make a flick. So that's a standard Musty flick, just like that. So with this, you don't want to tilt your car too much forward, so that the back of your car hits the ball. I'll try and show you an example of that now if I can. So if you propel too much forward, the back of your car will hit the ball and you'll knock it away from yourself. This may also happen if you've got the ball too high up on your hood or too low on your hood. So the positioning of the ball is very important with this flick, and also the amount that you move your car is important when you're doing this flick. So there, I've knocked it forward a little bit because I rotated forward a little bit too much. The second variation of this flick is what I call a full rotation musty, which involves doing a full backflip with the ball. So this would look not like that, and not like that. So more like that, but generally with more power. There we go. If you get a good flick, you can generate quite a bit of height on it as well, which is always going to be beneficial if you want to go for a top corner shot. I don't know why I done there. Now the other thing with this, I would definitely recommend getting used to the different. There we go. That's a good one. The different uses of the jump button. So with this, what I mean by this is that if you hold down the jump button, you will jump higher than if you just tap it lightly. It's actually quite a big difference, and this works the same if you have the ball on the hood of your car. If you do a small jump, the ball will get more height than you, and if you hold the jump, you'll get around the same height as the ball, which is what you're going to want whilst doing this flick. So there I didn't hold the A button for long enough, and there I did. So that's pretty much it for the musty, and it has several different uses. You can see freestylers using this technique after getting a flip reset. You can use it after getting with a turtle air dribble for a few different freestyle options. I'll try and show you one now quickly if I can. No, I didn't get it. Yeah, so with the musties, the positioning of the ball is very important, and it will generate. I keep saying generate. I don't know why. Generate quite a lot of power. Yeah. So the next flick, which in my opinion is the second hardest flick to pull off. A lot of people say it's the hardest. I'd say it's the second hardest, is the Breezi flick. Now this mechanic will take a lot of time to master. For myself, I am definitely not mastered. I have not mastered this flick. There will be some tutorials on how to do this more consistently. But as you can see from the controller overlay in the bottom left of the screen, there are a few different mechanics that you're going to input into this, and the last of those being the musty flick. So the first mechanic that you need for this one is a tornado spin. So with this, you're going to need to have either air roll left or air roll right bound to a button on your keyboard or controller. For me, I have air roll right bound to B, and I have air roll left bound to LB. So with this, you would use an analog stick input along with the air roll input. So for myself personally, I tend to use, I don't know whether to call it a left tornado spin or a right tornado spin. But this just involves using B and holding left on the analog stick. So air roll right and left, or LB, so air roll left and right on the analog stick. So if you pay close attention to the thumbsticks in the to the button commands in the overlay, you can see that when I do a tornado spin with B, I hold the analog stick left, and when I do it with LB, I hold the analog stick right. So you want to make sure it's in the opposite direction to the air roll. The next thing you want to do is cut that out. So when you get to this position where your car is upright, you will stop the air roll input and just keep the analog stick input as it is. So it would look like that. And then at the end, you just backflip. So you have to make sure that your car is, let's say, ready for a musty flick. So you want to make sure that the top end of your car is further back than 180 degrees. And yeah, so the mechanic generally will look like that. Very difficult to be able to do this with the ball consistently. Some people use a bounce dribble so they'll just get one touch with a bounce and then do it. But being able to do it with the ball in your possession on top of your car is definitely going to be a lot more beneficial. Now the last flick is one that I'm still yet to actually score, even in training, is a 180 Wavedash flick. Now there are two variations of this. The first variation is definitely a lot easier than the second. It just involves doing a 180 Wavedash, holding power slide, and then a backflip. So I'm going to try and do it now. Actually, no, I'm trying to do the other one. I haven't practiced this for a long time. So that was nearly it. So you can probably understand the mechanic that I'm going for here. You jump with the ball 180, so you turn 180 degrees, power slide, and a backwards Wavedash when you land. And then a backflip or backwards diagonal flip to move the ball. The second way of doing this is by doing a Wavedash spin. And to do this, you just need to air roll slightly to the left or the right. As you're landing, do a front flip and hold power slide. So it's really not that difficult, but it's with the ball, it's very difficult. So I will try it now quickly for you. Yeah, that was kind of it, except you want to try and get more propulsion towards the net. Yeah. I think that should about cover all of the different flick variants in the game. I think there is one other one actually, which is the dragon flip, which I'm still yet to actually even get a flip reset after a... So it's similar to that, except with a flip at the end. So it's about catching the ball in the perfect position, in a turtle position, getting a flip reset, and then flipping with the ball. Which, as I say, very difficult to actually hit. So, yeah, that's about all I've got for you guys for now. If there are any flicks that you want a slightly more in-depth tutorial on, please just let me know in the comments. And if there's any other mechanics that you'd like to learn, that you'd like a more in-depth tutorial on, you can let me know again in the comments. I do have some air dribble tutorials, which are slightly outdated, as I've actually improved quite a lot since my last tutorial. So yeah, I'll leave that to you guys. If you want that, let me know in the comments. If you feel like I've helped you at all in the video, I'd appreciate if you gave me a like and even subscribe, as it will definitely help the channel and help me to produce more content in the future. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, I hope you've learned something today, and I hope you get to score some banging flicks against your opponents. Alright guys, take care, and I hope you have a good day or night. Bye bye.